And just to follow up, this is the dust you get, and I mean, I am not joking. This was only put up here last month, and you can see the dust that will come off, literally. Right, so you have to be careful, and you don't want that all in your van, I can assure you, because I don't. And there you go. So this here is my fire. This is a 6-inch, basically, which was excellently worked and made by somebody, and I bought it. It's not very tall. What you'll see here is a 56-pound metal weight. Well, that's a heat sink basically, so that sits on top of the fire, and basically when the fire gets warm, that still radiates heat. The other thing you see, I've got a wire basket on the top, and the reason the wire basket is on the top is I put the wood in there because sensibly you want to keep your wood warm. If it's warm and dry, it will burn nice and hot, and that's what I tend to do. So I literally take it out, stick it on there basically, stick it in the basket, and then it's warm. And this is my supply down here, which you can see I've cut some various timber, which I know is red oak, white oak, there's bits of cherry and everything else. Some of this has got wet and so it's drying off, and also you'll find it's drying off in here, etc. And I use this for various projects. This is like some of the stuff I've made and bits and bobs, which offcuts, what I used to do with my turning. So there you go, you know. And then I've got the chimney. Well, the blades at the back are just to reflect the heat. There's a bit of water coming through on this one, but I'm not really bothered because it's only a conservatory and it's not cause any damage, and I'll be moving soon. And then there's a steel tin at the back, basically, which you can see. And there you go. That is the small fire. They're highly recommended. You know, cheapest, honest, literally. I keep saying cheapest chips, but that was about sort of £80 delivered, and I've had it for a couple of years now, 2 or 3 years. And the amount of heat that gives off is tremendous. But you can see the burn patch there, and you can see like a bit of a burn patch on this side. Sorry to move the camera, but I've got a board in front here, so I don't melt my settee. The settee's got to go anyway. But so there you go. So that will fit in a nice camper, no problem at all. And then in the spring, this will be coming out. So if it's still about, if somebody wants one, there you go. You can have it. Small fee, you know, if I know you, a tenner. But anyway, that's it folks. I'll get a bit more footage for you. Cheers. Right, here we go in the tonka. This is the fire, of course. You know, the fire itself is quite reasonable. It's basically the flue has cost the most. I don't know whether I covered it with a video. Bri did a video of me van once, so the ramblings of Bri. But the reason I got this, it's just easier. It's as simple as that. There's my fan, whatever, show me rubbish thing, and it goes through there, it goes through the ceiling there. I check for water leaks all the time, as you're well aware of, and there you go. Don't want to see any too giddy. Well, this thing here, got a nice glass door, you can open that, etc. I clean the glass every time I finish it. The next time I start it, I finish it. And this is the vent in here, so you open that little vent here. Oops, sorry, can you see that? You open that little vent here, and then away you go. And then you've got a top vent for the top gas burn, which is here, which slides across, and there you go. So you can adjust that. The knob comes loose occasionally with them driving, so you just lock that up. Now this is locked, and this is slightly open. You can ember this. Now I'll ask you one thing. I would leave that and go for a walk for 2 hours, and then I would come back and my van would still be here. If you can guarantee that you would do the same for the fire that you fit in, whether it's a cheap one or not, then rock and roll. I know that if I go to bed and leave some members in there and I call it lock down the fire, I know that I will sleep okay and I'll have no worries. If you can guarantee that with another fire, then carry on. So you have to have confidence in your fire and your fitting ability. So as long as you've got seals and various other things, and before anybody does say, on the wall here at the back you can see a vent. That vent there, basically, whoops, I don't like people doing fingers, but I'll do the fingers. That vent there is always open at the back, basically. And then if I very carefully, and as I've said before, I've loaded wood on because I know I'm going on a trip. So up here, as you can see, are 3 tubs of wood, 1 tub of sawdust, spare food box, and this vent up here, even though you might be able to see a crack in it, it's also got a cover on the top, and that's open, so when the fire's lit, that's open. Only opens an inch or so. There you go. And that's what I tend to do. I don't try and make your van seal water airtight, because you can't do that. And the other thing I've done as well, which I'm still in the process of doing, ooh, it's kinky that, isn't it? Right, here, because this is the bedroom area, I've got spare quilts, you know, duvets, duvets really, but I call them duvets. So I've put some clips up there, some little tiny hooks and eyes, and I put some of those elasticated stretchy wire across there to hold it against the window. Now that's only a little bit of insulation, right? Nothing major, but it keeps out the cool air, because if you're camping in the winter, you know, there you go. Now I can take that down, and all you're going to see is where I leave the little tiny hooks here in there. You ain't going to notice them once the wire's down. I can pack this up, roll it up, store it away somewhere basically for the end of the year, and then use it next winter. I've got one to go up on this side, which is there, but I've got to go out and it's raining, and I don't want to get wet because I have a disability scooter, as you know, and anyway, there you go. So I've got to put that one up on this side, and that should keep a little bit of warmth in, as you say. That is what I made earlier and blocked the window out, and also there's a spare duvet up the back there that I've shoved up, and so I can sit in there. So hopefully that will just take or keep a little bit of heat in. And I've noticed I've got a little drip above, and I've got to get a new cover for that, so I'm just going to find out which one it is and order it. It's a little tiny drip that seems to be coming, and I've still got to work on that inside there, because that little brown stain is a drip, and it's raining and it's a slippy roof, and I don't want to go on a slippy roof, thank you. I've already caused enough damage to my arse, thank you. Oh, well, that's another story. I might put that on one of the days, because I've come off my disability scooter and ended up in hospital, but that's another story. That's why I'm a bit incapacitated. Right, there's my fire. I might do a burn test and put that on, but there you go. Hopefully that's informative. Any questions, anybody? I'm not a soothsayer. I'm not the man of all knowledge. I do try to read about things. I do try to understand things. I prefer it if people would comment. I've got no problem with that. So I'm just looking. Well, there you go. That's how I've done it, and that's the brace at the back. Oh, and just to confirm, that brace at the back there goes through the side of the van and bolted. And then, and the reason I've done that is because I know it sounds daft, but this fire weighs £200 approximately, and it was a ball bust to get it in there, plus the slab. And you know something? If I have people sitting opposite in this bench, because I sit on this one, if I was to break suddenly, do you know something? I don't want £200 of fire coming across there and breaking somebody's legs. So it's bolted down, bolted to the back, and hopefully it will stop where it is. So that's another reason that you sort of be a bit cautious, because it's a projectile. You know, if you have an accident, you know, there you go. You don't want that sort of hitting somebody who's sitting in this chair here, because he's going to chop the legs off. Simple as that. Well, there you go. That's it's a bit of a ramble. I'll check that. I'm rumbling around a bit, but I'm telling you, when that fire's lit there and my feet are out here, mate, oh, toasty. Anyway, it's raining, it's shit weather, it's Monday, and I nearly swore then, and it's crap, but hope to see you all soon on the travels. I've just been got a few maps for Snowdonia, so I will be on my travels starting next week. Cheers, folks.